I do like Melbourne style more than Sydney.
Oh,
I don't want to start a fight, but it's true. I like bags. I like Paratha.
yes. Yes. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Don't Talk Back podcast where us brown kids talk back just the right amount. I'm your host Khushee and today in the studio we have an expert fashion stylist who is not just redefining fashion but also the way we see identity, self-expression and style. So Bhav, welcome to the pod. How are you?
I'm great today. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So to walk us through what inspired you to go into fashion?
So it's a funny story, actually. I always wanted to be a lawyer.
Oh, wow.
My whole life I wanted to be a lawyer. So
Like a 360 pivot.
360 pivot, right? So I went into law school. I enjoyed the first year, and then every year after that was a slog.
Oh, yeah.
Felt mentally drained. I actually even had suicidal thoughts. I had a lot of anxiety. And I talked about this a lot, actually. And I didn't have the pressure from my parents or anything to go into law. So I don't want that to be the case where everyone thinks it's like that.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to be a lawyer because I've always wanted to help people. I've always wanted to. I think the justice system in general is a bit screwed up, and some people go to jail they don't deserve it. So I always wanted to be a defense attorney, help people, avoid jail, things like that. And I grew up in Western Sydney, where I've seen friends go to jail. I've seen, terrible things happen, and I've always wanted to be the person that could help the people that needed the help.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got into law school. I liked the first year, and then I don't know what happened. I just lost the passion for it. It didn't fill me up with excitement every day like I thought it would. I dropped out at the end of the fourth year, and I decided, what can I do with my life that I actually enjoy? And at this point, I really loved fashion. I really loved how it can make you, you learn more about yourself every day when you dress up, when you try new things with your style. And that's what I really enjoyed about fashion. And people always ask me, can you help me? Can you help style me? Can you help me with this outfit? With what could work for me? Etc. Like things like that, right? And people would comment on that on my posts.
Oh.
And I didn't really know how to help other people. I only knew how to help myself.
Yeah.
But I was just scrolling through Instagram one day, and I saw an ad for a personal styling course at the Australian Style Institute, and I thought this was a sign from God or the universe or something, as stupid as it might sound.
No, I get
and I basically risked everything for this one ad, which is so funny, right? But it was a big risk at the time because dropping out of law school and going into a fashion course is basically unheard of as an Indian person, as a brown person, but I thought that this would actually make me happy in life. Funnily enough, the first day I walk into the classroom, and my teacher, Lauren, she's one of the best teachers I've ever had in my life. I was learning things I actually enjoyed. I was excited to come to class every day, and I was learning how to help other people with confidence, find out what works with their skin tone, put myself in their shoes, understand who they are. Fashion is more than just aesthetic. It's actually very psychological.
Yeah.
And that's why I love fashion, because, you can put on a great outfit that suits you, and the rest of your day can be improved. You can have, you can walk into a business meeting and people will sense that confidence from you, and you could walk away with a better deal, for example.
Exactly, yeah.
And this has happened to me many times. People they see me and they're like, who is this guy? I walk into an event, for example, they come up to me and they're like, who are you? I want to get to know you. You look very interesting. And, when I tell them, I'm Indian, most people don't believe me. For some reason, they say I'm they think I'm from Dubai, I'm Arabic, Persian or something, not Indian. And I want to shift the culture where Indians are not fashionable.
Exactly.
They're not, they don't take care of themselves. The stereotypes.
Yeah.
We smell like
curry.
It's ridiculous. But, pop culture, movies, it's kind of it's seen as, we're seen as an easy target, right? For jokes.
Yeah.
And
You're always the comedic relief.
Yeah, we're always a comedic relief, and I actually, like, this is actually kind of sad, but I get DMs from like kids like 16, 17 years old, and they're like, I'm ashamed to be Indian. You know, sometimes I wish I wasn't Indian. I had this one person that said they have suicidal thoughts from getting bullied every day at school. And then they see me, you know, go into these events, red carpet. And I always try to say on my stories, like, it's okay to be Indian, you know, it's okay to be who you are. You can do what you want to do in life. You don't have to take the traditional path of university, for example, if you want to be a more creative person. And they were like, oh, I really, really inspired by this, and you make it okay for me to be Indian. I wish it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it's really hard.
I feel a bit of an outcast when I walk into these events where it's all mainly white people.
White people, yeah.
And they have that one brown person there, which is me, to fit in their quota or whatever. But
to show they're diverse.
Yeah, I always say, like, we need more brown content creators. I want to be the person that inspires, like, some kids going through high school right now. Just make content, like, do what makes you happy. You know, everyone has something they're passionate about. I have fashion, other people have makeup, video games, whatever it may be. You know, I think building a personal brand in 2025 is one of the best things you can do. And it's so powerful, social media. Like, you can post a story every day, you know, whatever you want to do. You can say it's okay to be Indian. It's okay to be, like, just make content, like, on your outfits.
Yeah.
Just every day when you're doing makeup, just talk to the camera and maybe share a makeup tip that works for your skin, and people will, like, they'll get resonated by it. It will resonate with them, and you know, you can inspire some other people, and you could create a huge personal brand from that. And that's what I've done. Like, I've made content since 2017, basically every day of my life. And when I started, it wasn't cool to, like, keep posting yourself. So I got a lot of comments at the start where people were like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah.
He's trying too hard. I didn't really care, because in 2017, actually, my style was terrible. So I started posting because I wanted to push myself outside my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because as someone with social anxiety, posting on social media is the worst thing you can do for your mental health.
Exactly.
But yeah, just every day I just kept posting, and eventually I reached, I found my style, and I became confident. Like, right now, if I asked the Bhav that's 15 years old, I'm 25 right now, so if I asked the Bhav 10 years ago if he would recognize who I am today, he wouldn't recognize me at all. So it's actually, I think social media has, you know, been one of the biggest tools in my life to reach where I am today. So I really encourage everyone, you know, to post on social media.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Not just, like, random things.
Yeah.
Things they're passionate about. Yeah.
Of course. And you spoke a bit about, you know, walking into a room and seeing that there are mostly white people there. So I'm guessing that, I'm not guessing, but it's obvious, you know, if you're a person of color, it's hard to compete with that kind of an industry, which is, you know, saturated with Caucasian people. So what challenges have you faced so far, from, you know, getting gigs to making a name for yourself in the industry?
So I started as a model in 2018. That was my first footstep in the fashion industry. And, you know, back then, still now anyway, but you would see the Australian model is blonde with blue eyes and white skin. Yeah,
the typical surfer boy.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And also the typical, like, girl as well. So, you know, walking into this, you would think that Australia is multicultural. So they would pick more multicultural people, but actually it's very hard if you're, you know, someone with brown skin, because, you know, people didn't really want brown skin models for some reason back then. It's okay. It's eased down now, I think. It's much easier to get modeling jobs as a brown person, but I focus on content creation now, on influencer things, and as a fashion stylist, I'd rather work with my clients, help them with their style, because I find the fashion industry is very, it's not as inclusive as they want it to appear. They mostly care about money. So I would rather help the everyday person with their style and teach them that fashion is not something that's just about aesthetics. It's not just about like being vain or vanity. It's actually deeper than that. It's a psychological thing. But yeah, as a brown person walking into these events, it's not something I like to see, just mainly white people, because I feel like Australia has so many interesting people, so many interesting backgrounds.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's how it is. So, they can have one brown person,
Like a
few,
tokenistic person.
yeah, a few dark-skinned or black people, and they can say this, we're diverse or whatever they want to say. But I think that's the main reason. Yeah.
It's really interesting you say that. So, people on camera see the glam behind it all. They see the perfect looks, they see the photo shoot, they see the hair and makeup. But what is like a typical day in the life of a stylist?
So I do, on my Instagram, I like to show the more vulnerable parts of my life. So I will show me dealing with the impact of my father, for example.
Yeah.
Because I know that there are people out there that are 20, 22, 23 or 25 like me that have lost their father, and it's made a big impact on their life. As a son,
Yeah.
we don't get to talk about our feelings. As an Indian person, it's in our culture.
Yeah, to not, express and everything.
As a man, not to say like, I'm dealing with this, or I'm dealing with that. But something I think people see on my Instagram that's very different to other people. I talk about my feelings a lot, and I talk about when I'm not okay. I think it's okay for men to express how they're feeling. It's okay for men to cry.
Of course.
Which seems so stupid for me to say.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't be something you have to say.
Yeah.
Normalize it.
It should just be acceptable.
Yeah, exactly.
But so when I was dealing with this in 2023, my father unfortunately passed with pancreatic cancer, for those who don't know. And it was a 5-month thing. So he got diagnosed in April, 1 week after my birthday in 2023.
Wow.
And he passed away in October 2023. So it was a 5-month thing. And, the doctor said he would live from either 5 months or to 2 years. And he passed away at the very lowest amount possible, to 5 months. So after he passed away, this was probably the darkest place I've been in my life.
Yeah.
So, I took it very hard, I'll be honest. And, something that made it easier for me was to express how I was feeling, because people reached out to me. They were saying, I lost my father too, or I lost my mother from cancer. They were sharing their stories, and this actually really helped me. And I didn't feel so alone.
You feel, yeah.
And I also had, yes, and I also had people reach out to me that my friends, and they were there for me. They took me out to lunch, dinner. They made sure I was okay. And I just think it was actually good for me to reach out. Like, should I say something? Should I express it on social media? And I did, because that's my character. I like to show what's happening. But this is the behind the scenes glam, right? So this whole situation of him passing away, I say it kind of aged me about like 10 to 15 years. Because I don't take life for granted anymore. I feel like every moment we're blessed. Like, I'm alive, I'm free right now, I'm doing my thing. I've been to countries like the Philippines where people are like, they're on $1 a day, $1 Australian a day, and they love life. They're very happy.
Yeah.
They treat me
Things into perspective.
They treat me like their own. Be happy we're here. We should be grateful. We should stop fighting with people over the most smallest things. I used to be that guy. I would be angry at things,
Yeah.
over the smallest things, because I don't know, that's how I feel like Indian culture is. Like, we make it very big drama over the smallest things.
Exactly, yeah.
And we shouldn't. So, that's one of the main things. In general though, as a stylist, my day to day, it's very hectic. I'll be honest. Going to, I'm never home usually. So I'm usually seeing my clients, or going to events, or having dinners, getting invited to restaurants. Also, I'm in the nightlife industry, so at night I don't even get to rest. So it's a full day thing.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love to be busy. I don't like to be not busy.
Yeah.
I don't like to be like twiddling my thumbs here, just sitting down. I always like to be doing something. I like to be challenging myself. I like to be helping someone. So if I can do that, if I can use the precious time I have on this planet to help people, then I will. But sometimes I take like 5 minutes out of the day just to eat, like lunch, whatever I have to rush to eat. And my mom's always like, why? Like, just sit down, beta, just sit down and eat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't, I got to like, rush or whatever. But I would rather it be like that than, I have like so much time, just to
You
eat
don't know
or
what to do with yourself.
not knowing what to do with myself, because that's how I used to be. I used to not know what my purpose was in life. And when you don't have a purpose in life, I feel like you are depressed because you have too much time to think.
Yeah.
When humans have too much time to think, it's never a good thing.
Yeah. You start overthinking.
You start overthinking, and I'm a very big overthinker. I have social anxiety, so I have like very bad social anxiety. It's gotten better over the years because I found my confidence. I found how to express myself, and that's actually one of the biggest things: self-expression. I love to dress in color, as you probably realized. So I believe in something called dopamine dressing, and dopamine dressing basically means when you dress in color, you're happier.
Right.
And there's actually been studies on this, and that's one of the main philosophies behind my style.
Yeah.
And I don't know, when I wear color, I'm happy.
Yeah.
People see me, they also smile, and they say hi or whatever. I feel like it makes other people happier too, because they see color. In Sydney, everyone's dressed in black, grey, like monotone colors, neutral colors. It's a corporate city, so that's what you'll mainly see anyway. When I go to Melbourne, I see a bit more color. I do like Melbourne style more than Sydney. I don't want to start a fight, but it's true. I like Melbourne style more, in my opinion. Maybe because I'm more inclined to the colorful style, and more. I think people there have more personal style.
Yeah.
More people dress more for who they are. Here, people dress more to fit in, so the more performance mindset. So yeah, that's my day to day. That's my philosophy behind fashion as well. I think I rambled on.
No, you're good. It was really interesting to take a look into that. And you spoke a little bit about dopamine dressing.
Yes.
So when you're, I guess, dressing your clients, what's your creative process like for them? And do you sort of work through what you think would look good on them, or do you take into account their style as well?
So it is personalized to them. So personal stylist, personalized to them. Similar as a personal trainer, takes into account like everything you are as a person, your age, what you do for work, and then they make a plan, a workout plan, a diet plan that works for them. Personal stylist takes into account your hobbies in life, your job, what you like to wear, what you don't like to wear, the colors that work for your skin tone, the colors that don't work for your skin tone, things like that. So it's very personalized. It's tailored to the person. So that's why it's a challenge every time, because I never know what I'm walking into.
Yeah.
And everyone is different in this world. And that's why I like it, because technically that means everyone should dress differently, right? Because everyone's different, but it's not true. In 2025, most people would dress to fit into trends.
Yeah, that's so true.
Rather than, who they are as a person.
It's just a matter of time for one thing to take off. I mean, I've seen the amount of people I've seen walk around with Stanley cups. I'm just like, do you even need it? Or are you just doing it because everyone else is doing it?
Yeah, I think it's a problem. It could stem because of social media, of fitting in.
Yeah.
And I think no one should really try to fit in. They should try to stand out, because
Make their own way.
if you look like everyone else, then what's the point of life?
Literally, how are you going to stand out? How are you going to make your own way?
It's not interesting if you just want to try and look like everyone else, I think because Sydney, people are just so afraid to stand out here because they'll get labeled names. And it's because of the tall poppy syndrome. I talk about this a lot. Like people, men generally will not like to stand out, because they'll either get labeled gay, they'll be labeled trying too hard.
Wow.
But people don't want to stand out too much, and that's why I truly believe people do not like to dress differently with fashion here.
Yeah.
And they try because
they don't experiment.
They don't experiment, and I think fashion, you should try experimenting. You should when you're in a store, you should try the thing that you don't think will work for you. That's on the clothing rack, for example. You take it into the fitting room, just try it on. A lot of people, they'll see it and they'll say, this will never work for me.
Yeah.
Or they'll ask for someone else's opinion, but that other person is not you. Like, you're the only one that truly knows if something something works for you or not, unless you're talking to a stylist like me, of course. But yeah, you should just always try different things. You shouldn't worry about too much about what other people think. That's the main reason for my content on Instagram. That's one of the main things I talk about. Be different, dress differently, express yourself. Fashion is about self-expression. Fashion is not about showing off like most people think it is. It's not about, you know, what brand you're wearing. I'm not wearing any logos right now. You could not know what brand I'm wearing right now. I look stylish in my opinion. You know, you might differ on that opinion, but in a nightclub, for example, most guys they'll wear a shirt that says Fendi, they'll wear a shirt that says Dior,
or like
Louis Vuitton,
checkered shirt.
yeah, or something like very like loud, and then they all wear like skinny jeans or like chinos or white shoes. So it's a very like stereotypical like men's outfit in a club, because people don't like to stand out too much. They just like to wear what everyone else is wearing.
Yeah.
The big brands. And I wish it was just dress how you like to dress. Like, it doesn't matter about what you have to, you know, what brand you're wearing, whatever.
Exactly. And I think you touched on this a little earlier as well, but the fashion industry is often labeled as, you know, a feminine industry. So when you started your journey out, again, we'll track back a little bit, but when you started your journey out, being an Indian, it's also, you know, double the pressure. So what were the kind of stereotypes or taboos you faced?
So I've been, as a fashion model, I'll get passed over on like jobs or gigs because they would rather go for maybe like a lighter skinned person. So that's one of the main taboos. But I'm not really a model anymore. I will model here and there if the money is right.
Yeah.
And if I like the brand. If I don't like the brand, there's no way.
Yeah.
Other things like I would be on the phone, for example, with a business person, and the way I talk, it doesn't sound Indian. I was born in Sydney, and I sound not Indian apparently. And then I would see the person face to face. This actually happened, and they were like, "Oh, I didn't know you were brown."
Oh my God! No
and they
way.
really emphasize on the brown, and they're like, "Where are you from?" And I said, "I am Indian, but I was born in Australia." Oh, and then they would say, "Oh, is that why you sound like this?" I was like, "Why does it matter how I sound?" And then I'll
to say that to your face.
yeah. So I mean, I knew I wouldn't get the job from there on, but you know, I still tried my hardest.
Yeah.
A lot of people have preconceived notions on Indian people. Indian people are some of the most hardworking people in this world.
Yeah.
The most loving people in this world. You know, we're not all what the media labels us as. We're not.
Western media always, even as you said, even in movies or in Western media, they always make India look like, you know, the poorest country in the world or the dirtiest country in the world, most populated country in the world, because it fits to their narrative. But they don't look at the rich history. They don't look at the way our culture is. They're just going to judge you based off you saying, "Oh, you're Indian. Oh, okay." Like, I don't know if you've seen Namaste London, but that whole speech that Akshay Kumar gave,
it's true.
I mean, if anyone says anything racist to you, I just whip that out. For real. I mean, the amount of times we get judged, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and actually, this is something that's very interesting. But the fashion industry will steal a lot of things from Indian culture.
Like,
many things.
Scarf or whatever.
And they would never say it's from India.
No.
They will never say it. But if for example, like a white influencer is using Korean skincare, they will say, "Oh, this skincare is from Korea. You know, my matcha is from from Japan. This is from this country." But you know, if they're inspired by, or if they're taking something from India, they will never say it's from India for some reason, which is very interesting to me. Like, India is one of the best countries in the world. Let's be honest. Has one of the best cultures in the world, where the reason for many things in this world, the reason for innovation, mathematics, whatever it may be, fashion is huge there. But most people will not realize that like India is one of the biggest like manufacturing companies, because people always see it as somewhere that's very like, I don't like to say the word, but like ghetto. And it doesn't fit into people's narratives. So they will never push India as a country that's great. They will always call it dirty. They will always say it's overpopulated. They will always say, you know, things like that. And I think it's a bit, I think it's ridiculous, I'll be honest.
No, I am completely there with you. But we'll also talk about Indian society perceiving men doing fashion in a very stereotypical way. So do you think Indian society has sort of become more accepting of men, you know, experimenting with their fashion? Because we see it all the time with Ranveer Singh or, you know, anyone who tries to experiment or do something different. They always get judged a lot by people.
Okay, so I know I just said India is one of the greatest countries, but
A lot for this.
but up we hate on our own people so much that it's actually like it's really bad, and it's something that I actually think about a lot. We will bring down our own people for doing things that are big
Yeah.
when they're successful or when they're trying something different, instead of facilitating or supporting their growth. So me being Indian, a brown person, and in Australia of all places where fashion is more of a feminine thing, fashion in general is more of a feminine thing. But in Europe, places I've been to in Europe, Paris, people, it's okay for them to dress differently because people, it's okay. It's the environment there. Fashion is considered something very highly there. Here in Australia, I'll get labeled names. I'm a straight man. I'm in fashion, but people will say I'm gay. I don't think using the word gay as an insult in 2025 has any reason to be here anymore. Like, come on.
Exactly.
But I just think fashion is for everyone. So why are you saying it's more feminine? Why are you saying it's more it's more like you can only be fashionable if you're a gay man? That's basically what people are saying when they say, oh, you must be gay because you experiment with the fashion.
Yeah.
I like bags. Because I have a lot of things. Like
It's just comical.
I'm out all day. I need to put things in my bag. Like my whole bag is full. Like this bag is huge and the whole bag is full.
Yeah.
So I like to wear bags. And then people are like, why are you wearing bags? That's such a feminine thing. I'm like,
it's not. Who said?
Who said? And fashion to me is genderless. I sometimes shop in the women's section.
Yeah.
If there's a nice jacket that's technically women's,
but you like it.
But I like it. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, women will always have the better things in fashion.
Oh, thank you.
It's true. Like in the fashion industry, for some reason, men's fashion is so boring.
Yeah.
And it will never go outside the lines. But women's fashion, there will always be something interesting in the women's section. Like, that's just how it is. I don't know why, but I'm very tall, so most things won't fit me anyway.
Okay.
But if it does fit me, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
Or I'll work with a brand when they'll send me something, and for my birthday actually I wore a woman's coat, and you wouldn't think it's a woman's coat unless I told you.
Yeah.
I told people who cares? I'm like, yeah, who cares?
It's just a coat, like
yeah.
It's a woman's coat, it's a man's coat. It's just perspective at the end of the day.
So if you want to say that fashion is feminine, that just means that you want men to dress boring. Boring. That's basically what you're saying when you say fashion is feminine. And Indians love to hate on other Indians for some reason. Yeah. It's just I've seen that in Hollywood as well, like Harry Styles. Yeah. So many of my friends will be like, when I say that I'm a fan of Harry Styles, they'll be like, oh, but isn't he gay? I'm like, first of all, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Second of all, who cares if he even is? Third of all, he's very stylish. Objectively very stylish. Yeah, he's very stylish. He can pull off anything. Yeah, and he always tries different things. Yeah. He has a stylist, so that's one of the reasons. But he dresses very nice. Yeah. And I think all of this comparison just comes from the caste system. It's very deeply rooted in Indian society to judge our own people. Yeah. And it's because of that. We're always judging people on their weddings. Literally. We can go to someone's wedding and then you will hear people gossiping in the corner. Like, we're still here. I don't like the uncles and aunties. We're still here. Why are you talking about the food? We're still here. It's so rude. Have you ever noticed if you're walking over to where the buffet table is, the uncles and aunties will be sitting like this and be looking at you up and down, examining your style. And then your parents say, go say namaste to that uncle or aunt, and you go up and they'll be like, you're looking very nice. I'm like, are you sure about that? Yeah. You actually think I look nice? Yeah, it didn't look like that on your face, right? Indians, they cannot hide how they feel. No. Their face says everything. So, yeah. But anyway, I think, guys, we're all Indian at the end of the day. Why are you hating on our own people? Let's all instead change the narrative. Let's shift the narrative. Let's support each other because everyone else is hating on us as well. Literally. So if our own people are hating on us, then we're basically like pushing ourselves even like back even further.
Yeah, no, exactly. I completely get what you're saying. But also something I'm curious about, do you think, in your opinion, that social media has sort of impacted, we were talking about trends as well, but do you think social media has really impacted fashion, I guess, these days in a good way or a bad way? Like, what's your opinion on that?
I think this is actually a very complex question. I like the question; it's very good because it's both actually. You know, it's Instagram has made it so people are posting more about themselves. I think it's really good to take photos of your outfits
Yeah.
and, you know, romanticize life because that's what life is about. Enjoying life, you know, taking photos, taking videos, memories. It's all memories. But on the flip side, people are buying fast fashion and then, you know, it's terrible for the environment. That's pretty bad. And also TikTok has made it so people want to fit in to trends. For example, like, you know, mob wife or things like that.
What's
It's
a mob wife?
literally looking like a mob wife, like you would see in movies like Casino, Goodfellas, things like that. So it's kind of like,
Wow.
it's very similar to the old money trend, actually. Also, the old money trend, like, you know, I think the old money trend is a good trend because people are dressing not in like branded clothes. They're like, it's kind of like, you know, less branded and focusing more on the fit or the structure of the clothing, how it looks on you. So old money trend I actually like, I'll be honest. But you know, most trends, I think people, TikTok trends I'm talking about, most TikTok trends, it just makes people conform more to that trend, and it might not fit who they are as a person. So someone trying the mob wife trend, for example, it doesn't really suit their style, and then you can see that, but they want to just make content for the sake of making content, which is fine, but it just doesn't fit who they are. And you know, they might buy clothing to fit this notion or this trend, and they might never wear it again because they tried it, they just did it for the content. They didn't really like actually looking like that. So I think social media in general, yes, it has improved the world in a great way. It's also pushed us back a bit environmentally, ecologically, and I think some people try too hard to dress like other people. So celebrities, for example, people see their style. Lewis Hamilton dressed great, but some people try to dress exactly like him, which is not good.
No.
Kim Kardashian as well. People dress they like, they put their whole personality onto her and try to dress exactly like Kim Kardashian. And that's not style is. Style is very personal.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a personal stylist, because that's why it, you know, yeah. So people should dress more about who they are, express who they are as a person. They should put that personal style in. They should put the personal into personal style instead of dressing for trends or dressing like someone else. Because if you dress like someone else, then who are you trying to be really? That's what I think, anyway.
Yeah, definitely. And you said something about moving to Dubai in December. So do you want to walk us through that? What are your plans over there?
So Dubai, I think, is the city of the future.
Yeah?
And how I would call Sydney is a city of the past.
Oh, does that mean we all should move to Dubai now?
Not everyone. Sydney is great at everything. Sydney is great at a lot of things, but fashion or creative industries is not one of them. So
yeah, fair enough.
I talk a lot about this, not just to people that work in fashion here, but also to people that work in music here. And you will notice that when someone makes it big in music, they will leave Sydney and they will go to LA or Europe or wherever.
If they're like acting and stuff, they won't stay here.
Or wherever it may be. And you must notice like a pattern here, right? So I was talking to Light a few weeks ago, and he's one of the biggest up and coming rappers from Australia, from Sydney, from Melbourne, sorry. And he even said this, like, when I went to LA, for example, I noticed the big shift, like things started moving much, much quicker for me. And he told me, like, I told him I'm going to move to Dubai soon. He's like, you will like kill it in Dubai.
Yeah.
And like hearing this from someone I listen to him a lot. Like he's one of my favorite musicians right now. And, you know, when someone says that to you, that's in a certain position, you kind of feel like you're on the right path, you're validated, right? Like,
Definitely.
I just think Dubai, as a content creator also, it's great there. You know,
Yeah, the lifestyle is quite different.
lifestyle is great. Brands, they want to work with you more. They spend more on events, for example. It's easier to meet other people, other content creators there. It's easier to network there. It's a city where people are in a growth mindset. So when you're in an environment where everyone wants to grow, everyone is pushing themselves to be better, everyone is trying different things. People, there's mostly entrepreneurs there, business owners. Like, it's such a great city to be when you want to grow. Sydney is great when you want to settle down with a family.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, my aunt lives in Dubai, and the first time I went there, I had such a culture shock because here the shops all close down at like 5 or 5:30, and there I'm seeing shops open till like 12 a.m. and kids with families out till late in the night, even on weekdays. So it's a massively different lifestyle from here.
And I wish it weren't like that because Sydney is such a great city. It's given me all of my opportunities I've been to here so far, so I'm very blessed. I will never take it for granted. I grew up, I was born in one of the best cities in the world. Like, honestly, I could be born in a place where I wasn't given these opportunities, for example.
Yeah, so just make you grateful.
Where internet is not available, and I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be, if Instagram wasn't invented, for example, I wouldn't be here right now, sitting in this chair talking to you. Isn't that crazy to think about, right? It's all because I took a risk to post on Instagram to like say social anxiety is not me. It's not who doesn't define me. I love this city so much, but when you hit that growth ceiling, that's what I like to call it, growth ceiling. It's good to go to another country where I know some people in Dubai, of course, but it's moving to another place and being in this different environment. It just challenges you to grow, and it's going to open so many opportunities. And it's also very close to Milan, London, Paris, and New York. So these fashion capitals, I can go there in very minimal time.
Okay, awesome. What fashion trends are you excited about, and which ones do you wish would end?
I don't really like fashion trends, so I would just tell people dress to who they are,
So no fashion trends at all?
Not really.
No.
But if I had to say something, I would say just try wearing more colors.
Okay.
I think more people should try to wear more colors. I think people stem away from it because they don't know how to mix different colors together. So I would say learn color theory. This is one of the most important things you can do. Just learn color theory, and you will notice how to dress different colors together. For example, I pair this orange with this yellow. Very simple, very easy, but some people wouldn't even know how to do this. So just learn color theory. Every outfit will be so much easier. Or you can just hire me as a stylist. Start by Bhav. Shameless plug there. But yeah.
Honestly, go for it. Honestly, go for it. And my next question is dream celebrity style.
Dream celebrity. Okay. So dream celebrity. There's a lot of celebrities I like. I love rap music, so I would probably go with like Kanye West or something.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just go to the most extreme because I don't know.
His fashion is kind of like basic, isn't it? Or no?
I don't know what happened. He used to dress really nice.
Yeah.
He used to dress outside the box, and now he's kind of like
Jeans and the hoodie kind of guy now.
it's very it's very stripped back. That's what I would say.
Okay.
And I think I don't know. I want to take him back to something maybe more experimental or try something different with him. I do like his one of his recent outfits, the all red that he wore at a concert. I'm sure what some of you may know, but I do want to do something like Kanye West, A$AP Rocky.
Not Zendaya.
Zendaya is.
Or her stylist is doing a pretty good job.
Zendaya is cool. Even Margot Robbie, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm Australian. And Margot Robbie's very pretty, so why not?
Yeah. This might be a hard question, but if you weren't a stylist, you'd be...
I think I would just be a content creator then.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, fair. And Australian Fashion Week or Lakme Fashion Week?
Look, I would say Paris Fashion Week.
No, you don't want either of them.
Australian Fashion Week is next month. It's very soon. It's in about 2 weeks. So for now, I would say Australian Fashion Week.
Okay.
But otherwise, I love Paris. Is one of my favorite cities in the world.
Yeah.
So I would say Paris. Paris is one of the very few cities where I actually felt myself. When I'm just walking down the street, I'm seeing other people dressed in outfits that are crazy.
Yeah.
I would
Is it really like Emily in Paris?
It is, yeah.
Wow.
So, even some people would come up to me and ask me, am I Parisian? Am I French?
Oh, wow.
And they'll start talking to me in French. I'm like,
I don't know what you're saying.
I don't speak French. And I would take it as a compliment because these French people, they have fashion on such a high
Standards.
such a high standard, such a high pedestal. Where if someone thinks you're French, like that just blew my mind.
You've made
Like
it.
you've made it, basically.
Well, that's a sign, I guess, that it's where you're meant to be.
Yeah.
And a fashion accessory you can't live without.
I wear a lot of accessories. I wear earrings, I wear sunglasses, I wear a watch, I wear a necklace. But I think most people know me for wearing sunglasses.
Yeah.
I will almost always wear sunglasses. Even when I'm out at night, I wear sunglasses. I don't know, I just made it like a bad thing. So I think,
Statement.
yeah, I think it's me. So I think sunglasses.
And what's your go-to comfort food?
Go-to comfort food. So I love cookies. I love cookies a lot. But I think, yeah, that's my comfort food, I guess.
Cookies or like crumbly, like cold cookies?
I just love cookies.
Oh, either way, they're good.
Either way. But I also love matcha. So matcha and cookies, my two, like, those are my guilty pleasures in life.
And the last song you listened to?
Oh, where are you at by Future?
Oh, that's the artist name?
Yeah.
Okay. And what's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Best piece of advice. Best piece of advice. There's so many different pieces of advice. Which one should I end on? I think people should just not compromise who they are to appease other people. That's what I think. And that's what someone told me when I was in Vietnam last year. Because he saw my outfit and was like, wow, I love it. And I was telling him I do content, I'm an influencer. And he said, don't try to be something you're not to appeal to other people. And I was like, wow, that's something I need to be reminded of, and I'm sure other people do as well.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. And this is my last question. So we have a little tradition on the podcast here. So my co-host Ranesh, he's from South India, from Kerala, and I'm North Indian from Chandigarh. So we have this ongoing banter that we do about South Indian food versus North Indian food. So we ask all our guests, and last season South Indian food won. So I'm changing it up a little bit. I've changed around the options. So I'm going to ask you, what would you rather, a dosa or a paratha? No pressure.
Okay, look, I'm from Punjab, so I don't know, but I love all types of Indian foods. I love dosa, I love paratha, but I would say paratha.
Yes. Yes. We'll start off on a good note.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I'm maybe Ranesh isn't here, maybe that's why, but I'm going to take this as a great win. We're starting off on the right note. North Indians for the win. But thank you so much, Bhav, for being here and for talking to our audience. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for being here. We'll see you next time.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.